Tim. Welcome to Tim's Time. Well, rarely do I mention feedback that I received from Tim's Time, but the feedback I received from last week's Tim's Time was pretty incredible. It's been kind of surprising to me, actually. You'll recall I talked about the difference between excellence and success. Well, someone contacted me this week. We had a little conversation about it, and it reminded me of the old joke, like from the 80s or 90s. You've heard it, but bear with me for those who are watching and haven't. Three businessmen or young executives were sitting down at lunch one day, and one businessman asked the other two, how do you define success? First guy says, success for me would be to be so important that you're invited to the White House and you get to sit one-on-one with the president in the Oval Office. Second executive says, you're kidding. Success for me would be that you get invited to the White House, you're sitting with the president in the Oval Office, and that real important phone rings, with the red button on it. It lights up, and the president looks at it, and then he says, no, meeting with you is so important that I can't be interrupted. Third executive says, neither one of you guys know what success really is. Success means to be asked by the president to the White House. You meet with him in the Oval Office. That phone lights up and goes off, the red button does. The president answers it and he says, hello? Just a moment. And then he looks at you and says, it's for you. Success. I don't know. Was Jesus a success person or an excellence person? I think we can tell a lot from this week that we're getting ready to celebrate and observe Holy Week, Easter week, if you will. I'm not saying Jesus wasn't successful. In fact, we're getting ready to celebrate and observe the week and weekend that changed the world, as one writer put it. But Jesus wasn't pursuing success. And let me illustrate that. It's the night before his crucifixion. It's by far the most anxious, tense, important night as he gets ready to face into the crucifixion on Friday, what we now call Maundy Thursday. Jesus could have been in the Temple Mount, encountering crowds and the workers there. He could have been in the homes of millions, and at least hundreds of thousands of Jewish families, and observing the Passover. Where do we find him? We find him in a room. It's kind of secluded, with the most important people in his life. People that he had invested with and invested in and shared life with for the past 3 or so years. And I'm grateful that he did that because of those men, just ordinary people that Jesus loved and discipled. Because of those guys, we have the Gospel of Matthew and Mark and Luke, and especially we have what is now called the Upper Room Discourse, where we have Jesus' words from that night. The Upper Room Discourse, that section of John's Gospel, I'll let you look it up on your own. We get some great teaching from the Lord. We get in verses that mean so much to us. My peace I give to you, not as the world gives, but my peace I give to you, Jesus says. That's one of them. How about this image? I am the vine, you are the branches. Abide in me, and I abide in you. And if you abide in me and I in you, you will produce much fruit. And what about this? By this, they will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. And then, of course, there's my favorite. Do not, or let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house, you know how it goes, are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. All this is kind of centered around Passover meal, and Jesus picks up a thing of bread. I'm quite certain it doesn't look like this. And then after supper, he picks up a cup. I'm pretty certain it didn't look like this. In fact, Indiana Jones taught us that, didn't he? Jesus picks up a normal loaf of bread and a cup that was used for the feast and to drink from. And Jesus, basically says, hey guys and gals, when you're doing this in the future, remember my death, my suffering, my body, which was broken for you. And when you drink this cup, remember the special privilege you have of being in covenant relationship in my Father's kingdom, your special place, all because of my blood, which has made it possible. Remember me. Remember life. Remember our lives together, knit together because of my blood and my body. And do it in remembrance of me. Keep your mind upon that special relationship for as long as you live until I come back for you. As you enter into Holy Week, I have a pretty simple encouragement for you. Remember what's important this week: excellence, not necessarily success. God will take care of success. And let me encourage you, no matter what you're going through, how difficult it seems, how anxious it may be, how much tension you're dealing with, don't let your heart be troubled. Believe in Him. He's got the future taken care of. He's got peace for your presence. He's got love for your day. Happy Holy Week to you. God bless.